Welcome to Bianchi Law Talk. Another Sunday coming to you live from the Jersey Shore, where we're having a great time and it's some beautiful weather here today. Today we're going to talk about two really important topics. In the link into this description, you'll see an article from NewJersey.com, which is really interesting. I call it the Child Predator Alert. As prosecutor, I was very, very vigilant in getting out to many community groups or community affairs unit about the dangers of child predators who are online with applications that children use, games that they play, and the various interactive social media platforms. You'll see arrest by the New Jersey State Police, which is bar none one of the best internet crimes against children unit, where these individuals, these predators, are online soliciting sex from children ranging from ages of 4 years old, believe it or not, into their teenage years. And the ICAC, Internet Crimes Against Children Unit, actually poses as children, and they have made some significant arrests about people who have actually affirmatively attempted to meet kids. So it's really important that you be vigilant. I always used to say there are no privacy interests between a parent and their child when they're on these games. Bad guys are literally inside of your home. They're right next to you and your kids on the computer. So be really, really careful. Read the article, talk to your kids. You'll see one case in particular that's listed in that article from the arrests that were made. I think it was an 11 or 12-year-old actually went to their parents, and that's how law enforcement became alerted to it. So it's really important to have that dialogue and communication. Great job, New Jersey Attorney General and New Jersey State Police in their continued efforts in that regard. The other topic I want to talk to you about, believe it or not, we talked about this on an informal video last week. It's about police officers being able to use your DNA from these programs that are these kits that you do for like Ancestry.com and the various multiple ones that are out there in these databases where people are giving their DNA samples for purposes of genealogy. The police have actually used them on multiple occasions, but most recently in two major cases where they broke cold case murders. One was the Golden State Killer, who had killed over 18 women, raped 52 women, and through the use of the databases that were provided, they found familial DNA and actually were able to build a case and ultimately make an arrest. Now, it became popular again, this discussion, I guess, so you say popular, and I talked about it on HLN TV last week. We'll provide that clip later in the week with regard to a new effort now to demand that laws be passed that all citizens have to provide their DNA samples to computer databases for the police for their efforts to solve crime. Now, listen, don't get me wrong. I was a prosecutor for a lot of my career, and I loved using DNA to solve these horrible and horrific crimes, and there's a great value to that. However, I just think we are going so far away from our constitutionally protected privacy rights under the Fourth Amendment, where we have a right to be secure in our person and property from the government taking things from us, that I think we're down a slippery slope. So while I applaud law enforcement, and if they can use these things to solve these kinds of cases, great, but to actually require that we all submit our DNA samples. So some people say, one of my good friends, Mark D'Annunzio, who's probably watching right now, a great, brilliant guy, says, well, those who have nothing to hide nothing. And I get that point. My concern is about the abuses. Whenever you turn something over to government, and I was in government for a lot of my career, you can expect there will be abuses. And these abuses also are ranging, not just for solving crime, that's great, but you're giving who you are as a person, your hereditary conditions, your medical issues. These things have been sold to businesses to market. Would insurance companies now rate you differently based on what your genetic profile is? Will you be required now to give your DNA samples for purposes of that? I just don't know all the permutations that could occur with regard to it, but I know that whenever you do something for a good reason, sometimes bad can come from it. I think that we should maintain our privacy interests under the Fourth Amendment. We do that with regard to fingerprinting and blood samples and urine samples. They require judicially approved warrants typically in order to get those things before somebody can go into your home and start searching. It requires a warrant to be able to do that. I just think the founding fathers would be really amazed that we're even having a debate about actually taking our biological DNA samples and putting them into the hands of government. And who knows what abuses can come from that. I don't know. That's my opinion. I think it's a balanced approach. What are your thoughts? Listen, thanks for always supporting Bianchi Law Talk. I would love if you would share these informal videos with your family and friends. I think there's some great public service aspects to that. And of course, there's a link below for joining Bianchi Law Talk on the fan page, and also subscribing to my new YouTube channel at Robert Bianchi ESQ. I would really love it if you would do that. And I hope you have a great weekend. I hope you found that this video was informative, and we'll see you next week, Sunday, 10:30, for another Bianchi Law Talk on whatever cutting legal issue is existing. Gosh knows they're coming fast and furious. Have a great week.